What's up, everybody? This is Whiskey in the Six. I'm Rob. Doing my first Glen Garioch review. Glen Garioch. It's a 15-year-old. It's the Renaissance first chapter. It's a four-part story, apparently. This one is a cask strength, or about cask strength, at 51.9%. Not stated that it's a cask strength. It might not be, but it's a really good whiskey. Okay. I also have, which was acquired in Nova Scotia. I was able to buy this off of my good buddy Peter White. The Glen Garioch wine cask matured. All right, not very many bottles made of either of these. This one is actually 16 years old, distilled in 1998, bottled in 2014. This one will be coming up shortly as well. It's 48%. Both of these are unchill filtered, no added color. They are a hidden gem, in my opinion. I actually paid this $150 at the LCBO, and for almost cask strength whiskey, or possibly cask strength whiskey, that's actually a good deal. So I'm gonna taste it, nose it, and I'm gonna decide whether or not I'm gonna add any water, but I do remember not liking it as much with water added. The nose is incredible on this one. It's a mix of bourbon and sherry casks. I'm shocked. I'm really upset that it took me this long to find out about, or to try my first Glen Garioch. I had a sample of the 16-year-old Renaissance, chapter 1, first chapter or second chapter, I'm not sure which one that one is. Peter White again gave me a sample of it. That was this summer, and I loved it, but this 15-year-old is incredible. And the nose is just beautiful. Okay, so getting some vanilla, some lemon from what obviously is the American cask influence. But then there's definitely your red fruits that you would pick up, and some cinnamon from your sherry cask influence. But although those things are common in many ex-bourbon or ex-sherry whiskeys, and we tend to say the same things, review in and review out, this one pops out of the glass, and that's not common with many whiskeys. That's, in my opinion, a Macallan thing, that's a Glendronach thing, but not necessarily most whiskeys. This one definitely, in my opinion, pops out of the glass. Okay, on the palate. Don't need a drop of water at 51.9%. You could add a little bit to cut out maybe a bit of that cask influence. There's somewhere around the mid palate, you get a little bit of a bitter citrus, like orange peel. You definitely get the vanilla. You definitely get like a raisin type sweetness and dried fruit type taste. I'm gonna taste it one more time, and then I'm gonna add a little bit of water. Really, really nice. It does have a touch more bitterness than what would normally warrant an A+ for me. Let me see what changes with a little bit of water. Not much at all, just to kind of open it up a little bit. Okay, nose becomes a bit more grassy. Still actually leans more to the raisin side now. It's a little bit more full, malty. This is really nice stuff. Honestly, I'm gonna give this an A. It's not quite an A+. It's probably 88, 89 for me. I'm gonna try this year to be somewhere between the way I was in my first year and my second year, which means not as hard of a marker as I was in my first year, but not as lenient in my second year. I feel like I was really, really hard. I didn't give one A+ in the first year. Probably should have given 1 or 2, maybe 3, maybe 4. And then in the second year, I probably should have held back on a couple and dropped their mark a little bit to high 80s instead of low 90s. I'm going to say that this is an 89, 88, 89. All right, so this is an A for me. Really good stuff. Compared to some of the other stuff that I had, that's what's kind of dropping this down. If you're relatively new to Scotch whiskey and you would like to try something that's a little bit higher in ABV, I think this is going to be good for you. At $150 at the LCBO, it's a 15-year-old. There's a very limited quantity of bottles, bottled at 51.9%. It's unchill filtered, no added color. It checks a ton of boxes. It's a wicked whiskey in my opinion. Don't let the A fool you. I'm gonna take one more sip. It just gets sweeter every sip. And that's what you'll tend to find with whiskey that's bottled close to cask strength and it's a little bit older. It gets better with time. So on any given day, I might be leaning more towards a 90. All right. So that's just how it goes. Unfortunately, we're limited to the amount of times you can review one whiskey, but I've tried this a few times. I've always leaned between high A, low A+. I'm gonna stick to my guns and say there's an 89. Just didn't crack the A+ range without water. But definitely worth every penny in my opinion. Alright, I might actually pick up a second bottle of this because I know that it's not moving very well at the LCBO, and that's just because Glen Garioch is not as well known as a Macallan or Glenlivet or Glenfiddich. I think if this was a little more well known, it would be off the shelf very quickly because it's excellent stuff. Alright, check me out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You guys can also check me out on Snups. We would love to have you guys if you join the Whiskey in the Six group. It's a featured group. You can check that out on Snups, and that's free to download on iOS or Android. You can also, if you don't mind, click the like button because for whatever reason that makes YouTube promote my video a little bit more and gets the word a little bit further out there. All right, cheers guys.